We're Realtor.com.
And we are here to share our experience with you about how do we design sleek data visualization in Tableau. I'm Ian Ling, lead data visualization designer.
And I'm Javier Vivas. I'm the economic research analyst.
And this is today's agenda. So Javier will start with an introduction to Realtor.com and the economic research we have. And after that, I will also give you a case study session about the design problems and solutions we faced when we create Tableau dashboard. So it will include how we enhance the look and feel of the map, how we enhance the overall user experience by leveraging Tableau, JavaScript API, and D3 integration. And finally, I know Tableau is going to release a feature for device-specific dashboard next year. But how do we do it right now? I will also share with you the take to support a responsive design.
Thanks, Ian. So we're Realtor.com, and we're actually the fastest growing real estate website out there. We also happen to sit on top of the most accurate and complete listings feed in the industry. Now, what you're looking at here is basically our main product. It's our website, Realtor.com. It's our landing page. And here's a very popular lineup of mobile apps. And so in the first half of this year, we actually experienced industry-leading growth. And that was all thanks to Tableau. Quick preview into our team, the economic research team. We're led by our chief economist, Jonathan Smoke. And I like to think of us as sitting at the junction of data science and economics. And that can be really powerful. We're a team of economists, researchers, analysts, writers, data viz wizards. And basically, if you look at my job is to come up with a comprehensive view on local and national markets. It's also about enabling a roadmap for economic insights, and Tableau is part of that. But it's also about partnering with teams, partnering with internal teams and external teams to just socialize those insights, to make them digestible. Obviously, a quick snapshot of our data flow. It's a bit of a cartoon version of it, but I've been mining data for years and years, and I've yet to find a tool like Tableau when it comes to data discovery and just that basic mid-level analysis of understanding your data. And in our world, we basically have a lot of corporate and third-party data coming into our storages, and a lot of that is big data. And we're plugging all that into Tableau, so it's functioning almost as a sandbox. Here's some examples of what that data looks like. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you sort of get the idea. And like I said, our job is to collect this and rationalize it and put it into a magic blender and come up with golden nuggets. Again, some quick examples of what we produce. This is our output. And it takes the shape of many different flavors. And we've had tremendous media coverage with some of our latest research, including the first number I mentioned in the beginning. So our work, our partners and our audiences are growing exponentially. In fact, we're struggling to keep up with that. And that's why we keep looking at tools like Tableau. Something that's rapid fire, and it allows us to create an assembly line of data-driven narratives. And so with that, I'd like to hand it out to Ian, and he'll really be walking through the hands-on demo and the interesting part of all this.
All right. Thanks, Javier. So you already know that we are an online real estate company, and we deal with lots of geographic data every day. So in this case study session, I would like to start with how we enhance the look and feel of the map. So you already see these infographics before, and this is a typical infographic example that we usually generated from Tableau. And in this example, actually, it tries to reveal 84 markets with high financial return if you buy a home right now. And you can see that at this part, you can see a nice and clean United States map. And on top of that, we have circles with different size and colors to show those 84 markets with high financial returns. And you might wondering, how do we do this in Tableau? Because if you are familiar with Tableau map, you will know that if you try to create symbol map, this is the default view you can have, which also include all the unrelated but adjacent country around United States, which will largely clutter the map up. And at the same time, it will distract the user from focusing on United States only. So how do we move from this map to this map? So actually, you can leverage dual axis features in Tableau to create a double-layered map, which means for the first layer, you can just incorporate some dummy data, which include the state name, and you create the field map to create that shape. And on top of that, you create another layer about the symbol map we showed in the previous slide. And then you turn off the background map. And then you combine them together inside a single map with dual axis feature. And after that, you also want to tweak a little bit for the size and color of the circle. So in this case, you can see that the size of the circle actually means the affordability of that real estate market. And the color of the circle represents the financial return of that market. So if you happen to find you are living in a market with high financial return and high affordability, maybe you should consider to buy your home right now. And this is another example that we created in Tableau for our infographics. And in this example, we actually try to incorporate that background map because it will make the infographics look more organic. However, our stakeholders usually tell us, can we change a little bit for the style of the background map? Because, for example, in this case, everything looks in grayscale. And if we can, for example, change the color of the water so that we can make the contour of the lens pop out a little bit, in that way, we can enhance the overall readability of the infographics. So how can we do that? Thanks to Datablake, we found a solution to incorporate some other map servers such as Mapbox, which support WMS protocol, which means that you can use Tableau to incorporate any customized map from any map server that supports this web map service protocol. And I know Tableau is going to launch a feature next year to support this. But how do we do it right now? So that's how it works. So the first thing is you have to download the Mapbox Studio. And this is a screenshot of that studio. So you can see, actually, you can create your own lovely map by editing the CSS style sheet at the right-hand side. And after you finish your editing, you just save it and upload it to Mapbox server. After that, you will get a map ID for the customized map you just created. And then you want to go to the Tableau knowledge base website to download the TMS file template, which will help your Tableau to connect to any kinds of WMS server. And the only thing you need to do is just change every attribute related to name with your ID of the customized map. And at the same time, maybe you also want to give your map a more self-explanatory name. So in this case, we want to change the color of the water. So we just call it blue sea. And finally, you also need to make sure the connection information is correct because you want to make sure you are connecting to the right server with the right URL format. And this information can be found on the WMS server you are using. And after that, you just put it into the map sources folder under your Tableau repository. And then you reopen your Tableau, you will see the map you just created now is one of the options you can use. And then just choose it, and now you can use any kind of customization to your background map. So far, we already know that how we can enhance the look and feel, but that's not the only thing we want to enhance, right? So in this section, I will share some use case with you about how we leverage Tableau JavaScript API to enhance the user interaction. So here, I would like to share with you an example about how can we create something like a map animation to showcase the visualization year by year. So that is a very common request from our stakeholders. And in this case, we are showing luxury home transaction in Manhattan, New York City from 2004 to 2015. And you just click on the play button here, and you will see the visualization of the transaction switch periodically year by year and make it as an animation. So how do we do this? Actually, there's a very quick way to do it, but it doesn't really fit in our use case, which is you can actually just drag your time-related data dimension here to the pages shelf in your workbook. In this case, we are dragging year, and then you will see the switch and play button automatically show up, and you can just switch back and forth between years, or you can just play it as an animation. However, after you upload it to Tableau Public, you will see that play button disappear. So you know most of our work needs to be shared online, so this doesn't fit our use case. So our solution is instead of using pages, you just drag the data dimension to the filter. And then you can create your own button in jQuery UI, and then you trigger the filter by calling the functions in JavaScript API. So this is how it works. So in the JavaScript, in your JavaScript code, it's simple. You just need to initialize the workbook you just upload in Tableau Public. And after that, you want to convert your HTML tag into a play button by using jQuery UI. And then in this if and else statement, you want to define the behavior of that play button. So in this case, if you press on the play button, it will convert it to a pause button, and at the same time, it creates a periodical filter that will apply to the data dimension you want to apply the filter by calling this apply filter async function. And of course, you need to make sure the name of the dimension is correct here. And on the other hand, if you click on the pause button, it will change back to play button and clear the periodical trigger to the filter. And this is just a very simple example. You can even do anything you want. You can create a more fancy set of buttons. And here is another example how we leverage Tableau JavaScript API to overall enhance the user experience of your dashboard. So here, the left side is an old version we want to enhance. And in this dashboard, it tries to show the United States luxury real estate market trend. And in this dashboard, you actually can see two major usability problems. And the first one is, maybe you don't really see it, but there are two tabs. It means that this Tableau dashboard consists of two tabs. One is for luxury market. One is for ultra-luxury market. However, you know that we don't really have any control to the style or the position of those tabs, so that you cannot create a more sense-making information hierarchy. And another thing is, you can see that the left-hand side of this dashboard is the list of metros, which is ranked by the home price. And the right-hand side is actually a drill-down view for the selected metro from the left-hand side. However, you don't really see a visual cue to indicate that relation between these two parts. So here's how we want to enhance it. So here, again, we use jQuery UI to create our own ideal tabs here, so that we can change the style or location, whatever we want. And we control the switch of the tabs by using JavaScript API. And in that JavaScript API code, we also listen to an event called mark selection. And we manipulate that the event, try to make sure all the time there will be one metro is selected, so that you can clearly see here is a visual cue to indicate that relation. And we also turn off the deselect all event, so that if you happen to click on somewhere else, and it will trigger the deselect all event, but I will turn it off, so the visual cue will always on. Okay, so far we already see how we can enhance the look and feel and enhance the overall user experience by leveraging JavaScript API. However, in some case, we still feel the constraint in Tableau. So we think it might be a good idea to integrate D3.js inside the Tableau. So you know that the concept of data visualization is you want to map your data to some visual object. And at the same time, you want to make sure the connection between the characteristics of your data and the characteristics of your visual object is perfect. So this table is trying to show a graphical presentation study in 1980s. And this is for the best practice for the mapping between metrics and visuals based on the human being's perception. So we can see that here, basically we will have three different types of data: quantitative, ordinal, or nominal. And all the visual characteristics is sorted by the effectiveness of use for that particular type of data. So you can find in this table, if you are dealing with quantitative data, in our case, let's say home price. Everyone cares about home price, right? You want to know not only which price is higher or lower, but also you want to know how much it is higher or lower than another price. But in this case, the color-related visual characteristics doesn't really do a good job. And here's some simple example to show why. So in the first three examples, we use position, length, an angle to show two different prices. And I believe every single person of you can easily tell which one is higher, which one is lower, and how much price A is higher or lower than price B. However, if you move on to using area, it creates a little bit challenge, but you still know maybe the price A is about 20 or 25% of the price B. However, if you using those colors, for this example, use color density, you might only know that maybe the darker one means the higher price. But if you use hue, you don't really have any idea about which one is higher, which one is lower. And sometimes you don't really have that much freedom to choose, especially when you try to visualize something on the map, because you know, for example, locations or the distance between two locations. They have their own geographical meaning, right? So sometimes you cannot arbitrarily manipulate them, and you just kind of forced to use color to map to quantitative metrics. And then you end up with providing this traditional color gradient band as a legend, which doesn't really enable you to compare precisely between two values. So what we were thinking is, at least we can have some enhancement on the legend part by creating this, something like this color gauge with a needle inside in D3. And whenever you click on the circle, the needle will move to indicate the exact value represented by that circle, so that you can have a comparison between two values. So thanks to the Russian Tableau wizard, whose name is Yuri Garilov, to taught us how to do this. And the basic concept is that, of course, first you still need to prepare your own D3 code. And you treat the whole D3 code as a single string. And you add a prefix of data protocol, which looks like this. And then you just treat the whole thing as a single string, and you use it as a URL to create a new web page widget on your dashboard. And then you will see your beautiful D3 code, D3 widget shows up on your Tableau dashboard. And of course, we need some interaction between the Tableau part and D3 part. So in that case, you need to have a variable inside your D3 code and use it as an interface between Tableau and D3. So in this case, you still need to treat the whole thing as a single string. However, in this case, you just cut it into two strings along this variable, and you save these two parts into two individual parameters and wrap up the measures you want to pass from Tableau to D3. And finally, you just treat the whole thing as a single string again to create your own dashboard URL action so that your D3 code can receive the measures you pass from Tableau. Of course, you need to make sure that these measures you want to pass are also dragged to the marks shelf in your worksheet. So here I would like to share with you another example about how we use this technique to enhance our visualization. So this is a hotness zip code area in Atlanta. And the left-hand side you can see is a heat map we created in Tableau. And you can see each zip code area is assigned with a hotness indexed. And when you select one of them, you will see the right-hand side, which is a D3 radar chart, is going to reflect the selection. And it breaks down the hotness index into 5 subscores. And you can see that actually this 50 comes from 40 from employment and 30 from demand and so on and so forth. You can also see the weight of each subscore from the angle of the wedge. And here's another reason why we want to do this. So for example, sometimes if you want to visualize the relation data in Tableau, I believe the left-hand side, this one is, I think it should be the best one you can find from Tableau. It's just a color matrix. However, if you do it in D3, you can have even more choice. For example, if you actually can establish a connection physically for the related items, or you can incorporate something more visually compelling like this core diagram. So this is an example that we incorporated core diagram into a visualization about inbound resident migration path from state to state. And you can see that left-hand side is a field map that we created in Tableau, and it is color-coded based on the number of inbound movers. And the right-hand side is the core diagram that we bring up from D3, and the arcs on the contour of this circle means the individual state. And if you want to take a closer look to a particular state, let's say California, because I'm from California, and you just click on that state, and you will see the D3 code reflect your selection by hiding all the codes that is not related to the inbound movers to California. So you can see that actually inbound movers to California almost from everywhere. And in the end of this section, I want to share with you some tips about the integration of D3. So the first thing is, because I already mentioned that you are treating the whole D3 code inside a single string, so you need to make sure all the comments inside your code is in this format, not the / one, because / will comment out all the following code. And the second tip is, you might also wondering, can we incorporate multiple D3 widgets inside a single dashboard? And here I tell you, at least I didn't find a chance to do that, because according to my experiment, I found that no matter how many URL action you created, they will all be delegated to the first URL widget you create in your dashboard. So I don't think we can do that. But if you happen to see some solution, please also let me know. And the third thing is, if you have originally a transparent background of your D3 widget, if you import it to your dashboard, the transparency will not available. So that's also part of the reason why I keep using white background for all the integration. And finally, this technique actually also works on Tableau server. The only thing you need to do is you just use this command, execute this command to turn on the data protocol support on your protocol whitelist on your Tableau server. Okay, so far we already know lots of things about how you enhance your dashboard. And finally, I would like to share with you about our takes to support responsive design. Yeah, I know they are providing new features next week, but next year. But we want to do it right now, and let's see how we can do it right now to support multiple devices. So if you are familiar with responsive design, it's actually a design based on the breakpoint, which reflects the width of different screen size. So in that case, the very basic requirement of responsive design is you at least need to make the width of your dashboard fluid to fit into different screen size. And here is actually a quick fix for you to do that. And that is, if you try to create a dashboard, the only thing you need to do is you make sure the layout of your dashboard is set to automatic. And after you upload it to Tableau Public, you just grab your embed code, and then you find all the attributes related to width and change them to 100%. And here's how it will look like. So here in this example, you see by default, you will try to adapt the width of the dashboard according to the width of your browser window. And then if you change the size of your browser window, you will see that it also try to change the width to fit into the browser window size. You change it back, and you will also change back. However, this technique can only be used in some case. For example, in our example, you only have one or two very simple worksheets, maybe some simple map or horizontal bar chart, and that is not always the case of your dashboard. And if you only change the width, you might let your customer keep scrolling down, up, down to try to consume all the information in the dashboard. So right now, I think the best practice for you to solve that problem is you just create multiple versions for different device size. So here we have a version for desktop, and another version is for smartphone. And after you upload those workbook to Tableau Public, you just grab the individual embedded code and wrap them inside the HTML tag. And then you just use CSS media query to switch for the correct version you want to show. So in this case, you want to hide the desktop version because you want to show it as for the smartphone user. And another case is you want to show desktop because you detect that they are desktop version. So here's how it will look like. So basically, by default, you see if you are having a very large size of the browser window, it will show the desktop version. And once you touch that breakpoint, it will just switch automatically to the version you already designed. So that's all about what we want to share with you about how Realtor.com to create the slick data visualization to share our unique insight with all our stakeholders. And I hope you enjoy today's presentation. And here we would like to take questions from you.
Yep.
Are you guys using Tableau public, hosting your own, or using Tableau online? To once you get these prepared, obviously look like you're sharing them with folks outside your company.
That's right.
Kind of the point, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how are you doing that?
So a big part of our audience is media and media outlets, so journalists. Public is really our main way of delivering that. So we're using that as our main channel. We put that on public, and then writers and journalists can just go in and have a look at our data. So that's our main use case.
Are you sharing it mostly with media or actually customers of
Well, as part of our team, our main goal is to communicate with the industry and with media. So there's actually a section on the site that's geared towards the public. So our main use case is towards media. But a big part of our audience, too, is our power users. So our power users are local experts, like analysts from their local associations. For that, we found the public doesn't really do a good job. So we're looking into server. And so we're setting up named users, named licenses, so that people can go in and look at more of the involved dashboards. So, yeah. Yep.
So when you go from public to server, are you envisioning that you're going to have to change some of the methodology to integrate with D3, or does that still work in the same way?
I don't think it will work on Tableau public, but I think it will work on Tableau online because you actually have that control over that admin command line thing. So you can execute that command on Tableau online. But and it will also work if you have the Tableau server enterprise license, because it will not only share internally, it can also share externally. That is another way you want to do.
There's another question here.
Yeah, so in the beginning you were doing the map customization, the single. So when you embedded that in your menu, so you did it at the desktop, do you have to do that for every single desktop user? Or do you have 50 people creating reports, for example, or all using maps? You have to embed that on every single computer?
For every single?
So it shows up in the menu?
I think the answer is practically yes, but part of that use case is not really for our desktop producers. That's how we produce content, but it's more like how we deploy it. So we may have maybe a couple of platforms or computers doing that, so we only have to do it twice. We actually publish it that way. Yeah, at the back.
You mean the IDE I'm using? Yeah, I just grab any kinds of text editor. And right now, the screenshot you see I take is from the Sublime.
Yep.
What made you guys decide to do, with the restrictions, the event as opposed to just listening to some of the events? I mean, you mentioned some of the select events and being able to basically understand, oh, I hit an event, they selected a new thing, and then sending that off to whatever outside D3 thing. What ultimately made you guys decide to use the embed as opposed to doing D3 separately and having it hit the same data a different way, and just using the events to coordinate between the Tableau map and one or more D3 types? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think part of that was just the simplicity. Like, we're just getting started playing with D3. So I think the first step was to say, hey, how can we just get it on there? Eventually, if we get more people and we get more events, we can actually coordinate events and actually make it more of an integration like that. So, partly convenience. You can ask about anything, not just the D3 part, but what we do for research and anything like that.
Yeah. And
Unless you're a spy from our competitors. I know who you are.
Yeah, and if you guys don't have questions, please take your time to complete the session survey on your mobile app.
All right. Thanks, guys.